Welcome to the Q.A.C. Team Podcast, your quality assurance consulting team. Quality is our highest priority for your business with one goal, one direction, success. And now here's your host, Charles Luttrell. Good morning, listeners. I am here today with Carla, Sparrow. Carla, good morning.
Good morning, Charles. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I can't complain. Looking at numbers all day,
Looking at numbers. That's great. Well, that's a great segue into the first question that I always ask is, tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Carla Sparrow, and I'm owner of CJS Business Services, LLC. We are a small business that services other small businesses and nonprofit in bookkeeping services. And I've been a professional certified bookkeeper now for quite some time. I guess I would be telling my age.
And that's
well,
okay.
let's just say I learned bookkeeping when we had ledger cards before computers.
So you have the experience.
Yes. So, and I have a couple of clients around town, couple of small businesses, and a couple of nonprofits.
That's great. Great.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about why did you decide to be a small business owner? What drove you to do this?
Mainly education. I found that, a lot of business owners have great ideas when implementing their business, when starting their business.
Mm-hmm.
But where they fall short is looking at the actual numbers for their business, how much money it takes to actually start that great idea that they have.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of small business owners, it starts off as a hobby. They have a trade, they have a skill, and they turn that into a business, but they don't understand how money comes into a business and how money goes out of a business. Just because you build your client, $10,000 and they pay you $10,000, does that mean that you profited $10,000? So they need to understand the aspects of money, how money, what's a debit, what's a credit, how does a bank look at a debit and a credit as opposed to a business owner? How do you look at a bank, a credit and a debit,
Mm-hmm.
So there are like a lot of little intricacies that, business owners don't always think about. And when they do think about it, they don't necessarily want to spend 5 hours sitting down, going through their receipts, recording things.
and 5 hours is hitting it lightly because I can tell you the hours I spend doing it.
Okay, so that's why you hire someone like me.
Right. Exactly. That is the key right there.
Right. So my main thing was to educate small business owners and to get them to look at their financials differently. When you might want to apply for that small business loan, it's important that you understand what a balance sheet is and what an income statement is.
Right.
They're two financial documents, but they mean two different things.
Right. Absolutely. So you've got the experience, you know what you're doing. So why did you choose this industry? This question always intrigues me because I'm always curious as to why people choose what they do,
I don't think I chose it. I think it kind of chose me. I learned basic bookkeeping in high school. I was always good in math, not so much as English. English was good. I could read, write, and do an essay, but numbers kind of resonated with me. I don't know. I guess I have an analytical mind. So, if it doesn't make sense, then it probably doesn't. It was really my math teacher and my guidance counselor who really pushed me towards accounting. And the simplest thing that my guidance counselor told me, she was like, when you think of an organization, when you think of a business, the accounting department is usually the last department to leave the ending of a business.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else will get laid off first. The accounting department is usually more job security. And so, I liked numbers. I liked sitting down. It's like a puzzle to me,
Mm-hmm.
putting pieces together and watching how it all unfolds. And that's basically how I got into it. Now, I don't like all aspects of accounting, but I like the day-to-day record keeping,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So there's a difference between me and an accountant and a tax preparer.
Mm-hmm.
We all are in finances, but we all play a different part to a business.
Right. My hat's off to you because I don't really like numbers that much, but they're very important. I
They
get a
are,
headache
and
when I look at numbers too much.
I hear that. I hear that all the time from people. It's like, oh my God, how do you sit there and do that for 8, 10 hours a day? And it's like,
Uh,
because it's in my mind, it's a puzzle. And I like the ending result at the end.
right.
I like to see how everything falls out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
Sometimes
whereas
your eyes.
an accountant to me, I think their job is a lot more boring because they're only concerned with the bigger picture. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they don't care about the day to day, how we get there. They just care about the ending result,
Right. And I'm a
So
little different. I'm all about. I want to know. Everything. I like to see. Where all the numbers fall and how things are put together, and you know what's going on within the business. That's very important.
it really is,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, you don't want to be putting in so much manpower and you're not making a profit at the end of the day.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
um, or you think you have a great idea for your business, but it takes certain capital, so you don't want to go left when you should be going right.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding cash accounting versus accrual accounting.
Mm-hmm.
I have clients that have asked me in the beginning, they look at their checkbook, and then they look at what the bank says, and they're like, well, how come I don't, the bank says I have more money and I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Well, have you taken into consideration that you still have checks out there that people haven't cashed yet?
Right.
So, you know, so it's those little things like that, or saying, well, Carla, I didn't make a profit. Well, you did make a profit. You may not have seen it in cash,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you
Right.
did make a profit at the end of the day. And so then they were like, okay, well then how do I turn this into cash? So cash accounting and accrual accounting is two different things. Think of a retail store. A retail store does more cash accounting because the money comes in, you go in, you purchase something, you pay for it right then and there. The store owner collects the money right then and there.
Right.
Accrual accounting is you provide a service, you build your customer, but you may not collect that money for another 30 to 60 days.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that you haven't earned the money. It doesn't mean that money is not recorded. That money shows up as income. You just haven't received it yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And that
so
gets
those are
tricky
the
at tax time too, doesn't it?
right. And then it gets tricky at tax time. Do you want to pay taxes on money that you haven't received yet? You know,
Right.
so
I don't
there's
want to pay
like a
money on taxes on any money I got, period, much less when I haven't received it yet.
right.
Right.
So there's so many different things. The truck that you drive, the car that you drive, is it a business? Do you use it 90% of the time for business, or is it a recreational vehicle? Well, if it's a
Right.
recreational vehicle, how do you use it as a business expense? So
Mm-hmm.
there's so many different parameters, that people, they start a business and they think, one way, and then they have a conversation with me and it's like, oh, this is the real way. So,
Oh, now I see why this has to be the way it is. Yeah, sometimes it's an eye
right,
opener. Yeah.
right.
Yep.
So it was really education. And I've worked in big corporate America, for several different industries and different things. And so I just really wanted to spend the rest of my time, helping those small business owners and those nonprofit agencies.
Right. Right.
record keep.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about some of the services that you offer. Give us a quick rundown.
Accounting
Hmm.
packages out there. So what I can do is I can start you up. I can also go in and do an analysis of your current software and make sure that things are um, transactional and posting where they're supposed to be. I can perform your bank reconciliation, make sure that everything that's coming in and going out is reconciled and cross-referenced with everything, with each thing.
Hmm.
And then I can provide your financial reporting, your balance sheet, your financial statements, recording and posting all of those day-to-day transactions,
Hmm.
your credit card transactions, because all of those transactions are expenses. So
Right.
those expenses have to be categorized and recorded in the right place. And then all of your income that's coming in, that needs to be recorded in the right place.
Hmm.
So those are the type of services that I provide. I can do it on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, or quarterly basis.
Hmm. Never a yearly basis.
Um, I will do it, but it costs you a little bit more if I'm
It
looking
is a headache,
if
right?
I'm looking at 12 months at one time. Yes. And my billing is the same way. It's hourly, or it's really based upon your need.
Mhm.
My fee structure is based on your need and what you're looking to get out of it.
Okay. So that was my next question was going to be, so how your fees structured is, how you do that. So that's some good insight there. So now that we talked about your services, what you offer, so let's talk a little bit about what are some of the challenges that you faced starting this business and getting us off the ground and running this bookkeeping service.
The biggest challenge that I faced is I'm not a people person. So getting myself out there, putting myself out there is risky for me. um, it's a little scary. That's probably why I love numbers so much, because they don't give me any blowback. So I have a hard time with marketing. So it was really great meeting you and learning what you do, because I can hide behind a microphone and talk to people and tell people what I do without being face to face with them. So that was
Yeah.
like my biggest challenge, is getting out there and finding those small businesses and finding those nonprofits. And so
Hmm.
what's worked for me has really been my clientele base,
Hmm.
the word of mouth.
Right.
My customers have done all the marketing and advertising for me.
Yeah. That's good. And it's good that you have it that way, that you know in any business, word of mouth is probably the best way to get business anyway.
Yes. And
So,
then I had to really restructure my business, because when COVID hit, 90% of my work was done outside. I was going to clients' offices and performing services right there on their site. And
mhm,
then when COVID hit, I lost a couple of clients,
mhm,
because they just couldn't sustain. They were like, okay, we're just going to sell our business and go to Florida and live a happy life.
right,
So
right,
I had
right.
to like really think about um, how I could expand my services virtually. And so I went out and I bought all new equipment and everything,
Mhm,
took an area in my house and designated that for an home office. And so now all of my clients, I'm virtual with them.
mhm.
They send me things via email or FedEx, and I work 90% of the time from home.
Mhm. And
So
that's
that works really well for me.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that little segue there, because that my next question was, how has the pandemic changed your business model? And I appreciate you just going right into it, because I know COVID, it's helped a lot of people and it's hurt a lot of people. So the food industry has done really well with, like food trucks and, being able to still, serve food because it's outside.
Mm-hmm.
Good that you were able to do this and continue working, even though it's somewhat of an inside business, but yet you were able to do it by meeting with clients and still having the social distance and still pushing through this whole worry of the pandemic.
Right. I mean, I still meet them face to face on a as needed basis.
Mhm.
But 75% of my clients, they don't need to see me. They
Right.
send me the information. We correspond either phone or email. A lot of the questions can be answered then, and they don't feel the need to have to see me in their office. You
Right.
know, we
Right.
built, and then the second thing is that the relationship that I have with my clients, that means a lot more to me. It's more personable
Hmm.
when I'm working one-on-one with my clients. And it's about building that long-lasting relationship with them. You know, I can do bookkeeping for the next 40 years. You know, I'll be
Uh-huh.
the cartoon character with the, you know, the pencils in her hair and the calculator tape running on the floor. There's a whole and papers, and she's surrounded by papers, you know.
Right.
You know, that's my future. That's what I
That's
see
your
in my
future.
future.
Right. So I do have something to ask. So do you do seminars or anything to like offer people to get in front of you to see what you do and how you do things?
No, I've never had I never thought about that.
Hmm.
I've never thought about taking teaching a seminar, you know, like maybe a tutorial, you mean?
Hmm.
No, I've never thought of that. That might be a good idea.
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking, interviewing you and talking. It just come across my mind to think about, maybe doing like a small, because I know someone, one of my other, um, one of the person I interviewed for the Vine Natural Health Center, they have a room in the back that you can probably rent out and you can hold seminars there. I'm going to do the same thing for what I do, you know, and that
That
might be
might be a great
good.
idea.
Yeah, that's, it's just an idea, you know.
And now I have to figure out how would I market that? How would I gear people there? Like
Hmm.
how would they find out about me? That's always the biggest challenge. That's the challenge that I have. How do I get myself out there so that people know?
Right. So it's a lot of social media, and I'm not sure. I don't know if we've talked about this. I'm not sure if you have too much exposure in social media yet, but I do know someone who can help you with that. And I think
Okay.
we talked about that, but we can cover that, after the podcast. But that won't be a problem. Getting exposure for you will be an easy thing, you know. And I know what you're offering, can be good because if you can educate people on what you are doing and your experience, then you gain clients that way, you know.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. I think I should sit down and sketch something out, come up with something, and try to
Yeah.
do something maybe this winter.
Yeah. There you
Because
go.
this is really the all towards the end of the year is usually when people panic, and the early part of next year,
Right.
is when people really start looking for my services.
Right. Because, we're coming to September now, and October is going to start that last quarter of the year. And it would probably be a good time for you to do something like that, to really put yourself out there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we need to talk after the podcast. I'll get that information from you. Yeah.
Absolutely. 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 So how do we contact you? How do we get in front of you? How do we find you?
That's a great thing. I'm on LinkedIn, um, Carla Sparrow, and that's a great question because I guess I do need to, other than word of mouth to people,
Hmm.
um, I don't have a large social media. I don't have a business social media because
Hmm.
I strictly go off of references and word of mouth and stuff. So the best thing to do is to email me at sparrowcarla@gmail.com. And we start there. Tell me what your needs are,
Hmm.
and I can let you know if I can help you or not.
That's great. And that's Sparrow like the bird, Sparrow, Carla, Carla @gmail.com, correct?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, Carla, I appreciate you coming on and telling a little bit about who you are. Do you have anything else that you want to add or talk about?
Well, no, Charles, it was really great. You're right. This was really easy. I don't know why I was so nervous at first, but
Yeah,
I
I get
really
that.
thank you. I really thank you for reaching out and giving me this opportunity, giving CJS Business Services an opportunity to service the rest of Harford County.
Absolutely. And once, like I said, we'll get you in the right path of some social media and, get your presence out there, and we'll get your client base built.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Well,
small business
I
helping
really
small
appreciate it.
business.
Send me an invoice.
Yeah, right. Small businesses helping small businesses. That's what we
Yes,
like to do. That's
yes.
why I'm doing this. I love to interview business owners. I want to help them get exposure. I want people to hear their story, and you know, hear about what people have to offer and why they do what they do. That's important to me, and to people who want to use your service or your business or visit your restaurant.
Yeah, and I love it. I love doing what I do, and I love providing financial information to the clients that I service.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Absolutely.
it really is. It's really important, and I enjoy it.
Right.
My motto is I will never tell you how to spend your money. I will just show you how you're spending your money.
There you go. Right. Now, do
You
you offer like a
know,
free consultation or anything? Does anybody?
Yes, I do offer a free consultation. The first 30 minutes, in which will outline which business you should format you should go by, whether it's a cash accounting method or an accrual accounting method, how you would use my services. Would you need me on a monthly basis, a quarterly basis? So yes, the consultation will give you all that insight.
That's great. Well, there you go, listeners. If you listen to this and you need some bookkeeping services, reach out to Carla, CJS Business Services. Carla,
Yes, thank you so much, Charles, and I look
you're
forward to
welcome.
talking to you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you again for coming on. And I know you're just as busy through your day as I am, and taking some time out to get this recorded and get people to hear about your business. And I really appreciate you.
And I really appreciate you. Thank you
Uh,
so much.
you're welcome. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk soon. Take care.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. You've been listening to the Q.A.C. Team Podcast with your host, Charles Luttrell. Connect with us on the web at QACteam.com, Facebook and Instagram at QAC.team. Thanks for listening.